update. I'm Joe Kraus. Our top story this morning: the NC softball squad moves to 3-1 on the season with their 3-0 victory over their rivals, the Niagara Wheatfield Falcons. Rachel Kraus threw a complete game shutout. The senior also had 6 strikeouts on the day, and the fountain of youth is starting to light up even more as Lainey Whiteclaw had a 2-run double. Her fellow freshman Kaylee Hayter went 2 for 3 with an RBI. Meanwhile, the baseball squad lost to the Falcons in a tough one, 11-6. The Jacks had a 6-4 lead after the fourth when Antonio Barba had a 3-run shot that hit the top of the scoreboard. The red paint was on the baseball as Coach Hannon went to find it, but the Falcons scored 7 in the 7th. Colin Ramble, however, is still put up an amazing season. The Rambling Man, as we all know him, 3 2/3 on the mound in relief, giving up 1 run on 4 hits, along with 3 strikeouts. Tyler Clare had a big day to play, 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Both teams are back in action Monday against Lockport. And finally, the girls lacrosse team lost to the Lady Falcons by a score of 18-4, but Desiree Doucette had 2 goals and Alyssa Kissel added 1. Well, our guest this morning has been with the Buffalo News for 17 years now, and he's been known for his work covering the local high school sports circuit for the past 15 years in Western New York. Well, whether it's a scrimmage or a state championship, you can find him using the hashtag PrepTalkLive, which I've used a lot in the past 4 years at the ProFNT, and he's now the Deputy Sports Editor at the Buffalo News. Will you please welcome to today's show, Mr. Keith McShea. Keith, welcome to the show. We truly appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe. Pleasure to be here.
So, you've been in this business for a long time. When did you decide, okay, I'm going to be a journalist when I grew up?
I went to UB. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I grew up on Long Island, and I knew that I went to UB because it was in a big city, and I had a feeling that I wanted to check out journalism. Grew up reading the sports page every day and Newsday, and I had a feeling that I wanted to check it out, and one thing led to another. Did this college paper at UB and things, and really said, "Hey, I'll take this as long as I can go with it." And here I am.
And you grew up in Long Island, right?
I did.
North Tonawanda High School. So what did you know about Western New York before you came to UB?
That's a great question. Downstate, not a whole lot. Being downstate, New York City is very prominent, obviously, best city in the world, and that's kind of how the world revolves down there, which makes sense. To me, Buffalo, might as well have been Ohio. It was just far away, and I knew the Bills existed, I knew the Sabres existed, and as I was looking at schools, I was like, this is pretty great. It's a big city, it's in New York State, it's still a state school, so it was economical for my parents as far as college costs, and it just, everything I learned about the school, big city. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life, but I figured that this city had, enough avenues and enough different things that I would find my way.
And I like we mentioned North Babylon High School. It's in Long Island. Their mascot is the Bulldogs, and there's a lot of teams. Yeah, there's a lot of teams around here that have the same mascot. But in terms of their athletic program, which one closely parallels to when you were there?
That's a great question. When I was there, they're pretty good I was on the soccer team. Soccer team was very strong. Basketball was some years great, some years no. On Long Island, a lot of schools are big. It's mostly like A and AA schools. So my school was pretty large. And it was a suburban school. It's not unlike NT, not unlike Kenmore West or East. I live in the Kenton district now, so I see a lot of parallels. That it's large school, suburban community, and athletically it was good. It was not the best, but we had our spots, and there was a lot of pride, just like we all know with all of the schools in Western New York. Teams do well, rally around them. So soccer team was great, and various sports were good here and there.
Now, we've asked athletes about their first day being on varsity, but I guess we can reword it for you. Your first day at the Buffalo News, or even your first story that got printed in the Buffalo News. What do you remember from that first experience? Did you call up Mom back in Long Island and say, "Hey, Mom, my first story is in the Buffalo News"?
Well, the first day that I worked at the Buffalo News, I was an intern. I was a UB student, and it was after my sophomore year, and I walked in there, and I was very fortunate to have this opportunity. And the very first day, I vividly remember this, got to the sports department, and there are guys that are sitting around talking about sports. They're sitting around planning what sports are going to go in the paper, what sports happened last night, what sports are going to happen the next day, what's going on in the sports world, reading about sports, writing about sports. And I was like, I think I could get used to this.
Yes.
And I just tried to do as well as I could in my internship, and again, one thing led to another, and I've been very fortunate to pretty much do a job that I like.
And one of the big things that you've been with, again, if you're joining us, we're with Keith McShea from Buffalo News, Prep Talk Live. How did that begin? Was that your idea? Was it the whole department's idea? Or?
Originally we were hashtag Prep Talk Scores. I don't know, you were probably like 8 when we started, but I forget when exactly we started with Twitter and then getting the hashtag going. I pretty much, in the business of journalism or anything, take good ideas from other people and try to model it after that. There was a downstate MSG varsity, which you might be familiar with downstate teams. They had a hashtag, and I was like, we need one. So we had Prep Talk Scores first, and it was like, throw that on everything. And then actually it wasn't my idea, it was Brian Connolly, who's managing editor at the News. He was like, let's just make it Prep Talk Live because that's pretty much what it is. And that's stuck since then, and it's been, we just want everybody to tweet Prep Talk Live. It helps us because we're trying to make Prep Talk everything. It helps the community, I think, because they can click on that and see scores from all over the place.
So be sure, if you're at NT event, be sure to help us out with hashtag Prep Talk Live. Now, you've covered NT a lot in the past, especially the 2009 state title game for football at the Carrier Dome. Was that your favorite moment, or do you have a favorite moment?
With NT Sports, to me, it's hard to beat that one. To be in the Dome, the way they won that game, the dramatics and Bloomfield's catch, it's really tough to beat. That team was really fun to cover. Coach Jancy was fun to cover. Being at this school, I've often said, as far as like high school experiences, where do you go to see a game where the experience is really great? And when this football team is good, this place is tough to beat. And Mr. Grapes, in the press box, dealing with him, he was awesome. He gave me a hard time sometimes.
Absolutely.
He was awesome, and he gave me a hard time first time I was up there, saying we had him ranked, or I would explain my poll each week, and we had some fun with that. But covering that team was phenomenal. The similar era, the Montesani brothers, their basketball team was very good as well. There was a big game here. They won a quarterfinal to get to Buff State and beat Sweet Home, which many teams didn't do back then, and that was a memorable game as well.
Do you have any other favorite moments, maybe non-NT related?
Gosh, with my job, the state championships are always great, no matter what the sport is. Buffalo State Week, to me, is one of the best sports experiences in Western New York, no matter what you're talking about, college, pro, anything. Just to be there, and you get schools from every walk of life in Western New York, city, suburban, southern tier. And you can throw the Catholics, they're not above state, but that week when all that stuff goes on, to me, is one of the best things in Western New York sports, every year.
It's a very special week. Last one, do you have any advice for our viewers out there, maybe about college or anything?
Just have an open mind. Do something that you like doing. I'm very fortunate. I get to go to work, and it is a job, and many days I don't want to go, and many days I don't want to do certain things. But I enjoy, for the large part, being in sports journalism, and if you have that, then you're in a good place as far as where the rest of your life takes you. If you're doing something you love as your job, you've really got you've got a leg up, I think, just in general.
Well, Keith, thank you for joining us. Keith McShea from Buffalo News. We'll be back in just a moment. Have a great weekend, everybody.